everyone out there in Model Railroad land, and welcome to the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston subdivision in HO Scale. My name is Darrell Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for another episode of the weekly update. And yes, this time it is coming to you on Sunday once again. Did not get a whole lot done, although I did make a big step in putting the final ballast. As of today, the railroad is 100% ballasted. Every piece of track in every part of the layout is ballasted, and that's a big accomplishment. Ballasting is not one of my favorite things to do, but definitely glad to have it completed. This is how it looked at the beginning of the week. Had all the scenery material on last time. Did the rock work and adding the ground foam and painting the rock work. Getting the backdrop all aligned and everything and making sure it was where it was supposed to be. And this week my plan was to get the ballast done and the road done, but I had a couple of things kind of get in the way to not get both the ballast and the road done. One thing that kind of got in the way is that had some issues with the signals. Some of the glue or water from the ballasting procedure got into the electronics of the signals. So I'm still working on that, and I will get that finished and get it worked up. But this is how the ballasting went. This is with the ballast down, but not glued down. Here you see I haven't actually spread it all out yet either. I use Woodland Scenics Fine Gray ballast for this. The fine is designed for N scale, but the size of the each individual piece of ballast is actually appropriate for HO scale. And I used one full canister, and I got all the way to the end. You can see the dark color next to the white. So I actually got the whole section done with one canister of ballast. But as you can see, I needed to do a little bit more. I didn't have any ballast around the signals, and there were some shallow spots. Here you can see the signals do not have any ballast around them. And you can see the shallow spots also in between the rails. The ballast is a little bit shallow on the ties. So I actually, even though I got all the ballast down for this section, it's about 15 feet of double track. So one canister of ballast will do 30 feet of HO scale track. But I actually had to go ahead and order a second canister, which would be okay because there's a bunch of areas across the layout where I need to do some touch-ups on the ballast. A couple of areas where the ballast cracked a little bit. The glue had dried, and then you could see some cracks. It kind of looks like erosion, but I definitely want to get that taken care of. You can see I also got the trees in here to hide the road. You see, cannot see that entering the backdrop. Have that covered pretty well. Added a little bit more vegetation on this rock face here also, and put some trees at the top there to hide the seam of the backdrop. I might put some more up there because it still is kind of a little bit of a contrast, although I have to say you don't really notice it while watching trains going by. Have trees on the other side also where the road goes into the backdrop. I am going to try and here you can see one of the signals is missing. As I said, I had some issues with I actually had some plaster get in there, which started the whole problem, and then I think some of the water and glue got down into the connections So I have some work to do on that yet, but here you can see the road going into the whole idea is that the road goes off the layout and then comes back on again. So it's the same road. But I am going to get the signal issue cleared up this week. I decided to stop working on it until everything dried. I did this Saturday morning, and it's Sunday afternoon, and it's still not completely dry. So hopefully tomorrow everything will be completely dry, and then I'll be able to troubleshoot a little bit better. Here you can see another place where I put some trees in. So I am going to, once I get the signals working, then I'll get this road in, and then I'll be pretty well done with this, done with all the scenery. You can see I also put in the PTC antenna there. Here's what the crossovers look like. I still have some touch-ups to do here and there. Some ballast is on the rails. Still a few shallow spots I may touch up a little bit. And I have to get that last signal in. Here's the PTC antenna in with its electronic cabinet. I have to say that road going off and back on worked out pretty good. I may put some more trees up, not just here, but just around the layout, so that these trees here don't look so out of place. I use the Scenic Express super trees for these. It's kind of like a kit. Pretty cost effective. It comes out to about $2 a tree by the time you buy all the materials and so on. There you can see how it ties together with the Echo Canyon part of it, and this is what the rest of the road's going to look like eventually. And you can see I'm still working on it. I still have the platform pulled away, stuff all over the place. So, but by next week I should have this all done. I also, when I got the Scenic Express trees, I also picked up this one single tree. This is going to be the 1,000-mile tree. When they made it to 1,000 miles from Omaha in 1869, they saw that there was this tree there, so they called it the 1,000-mile tree. It died in 1900, and in 1962 they replaced it with this existing tree. So I am going to have a ceremony to celebrate the completion of scenery by planting this 1,000-mile tree as the final piece of scenery. I'm going to put the little fence up and the sign and everything, and I'm going to be live streaming the ceremony Saturday morning, May 31st. That's when I'll be live streaming it. And so make sure you tune in on that. It'll be probably around, 9 o'clock. So be watching for the live stream. Hey, here we go with some trains running through. One thing I did this last week also is I completely rearranged all the motive power. I do that every couple months. I get tired of the same locomotives pulling the same trains, so I have a little program that randomly assigns locomotives to trains, and then I move all the locomotives around so you have a new set of locomotives pulling all the trains. I do have certain criteria. Make sure that the longer trains have AC power, and then the shorter trains can have either AC or DC power. This is a auto rack, and you can see it's pulled by a Tier 4 GEVO by Scale Trains, and then that's an AC unit. And then there's also a SD70M, which is a DC unit. So this is just a regular auto rack train, not a big, heavy train. So you could have either AC or DC. I usually assign the DC trains to locals. So I do have some criteria set for certain engines to be assigned to certain types of trains. But it's good to get everything kind of mixed up from time to time, so you don't get tired of seeing the same consist for every train. This particular train is a auto rack train. I just have one auto rack train going in one direction. Thinking about maybe adding a second auto rack train. Don't have staging yard room for it though right now. You can see the ballast definitely makes a big difference. Having the road in next week will definitely make a big difference. But I really like the way this looks. Everything's kind of fitting in together. Here's another Tier 4 Gevo. And then coming in the other direction, we have a manifest train. The first locomotive on this train is a BLI Gevo. And then a Kansas City Southern Gevo. That the KCS Gevos by Scale Trains, and then you have an Athearn SD70 ACE. And this is just a regular manifest train going through. See how much more finished it looks here with the road in there, together with the ballast on the track. So definitely have that as a main objective this next week. Getting the road in. And then I'm going to be moving on to some new things, mainly weathering. So we kind of get looking in the other direction here. Going to try and do some weathering here before too long. Have a lot to do. Lots to look forward to. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Have a great week. Don't forget, in a couple of weeks, May 31st, live streaming the 1,000 Mile Tree. Take care, everyone.